Erica and Sharon are sisters who began their grief journey in 2006 when Erica's 10-year-old son Austin drowned. Together, they participated in a grief education program and were so moved by this experience, they studied and became specialists so they could help the brokenhearted find recovery. In 2015, tragedy struck their family once again when Erica's oldest son Donovan was killed in a motorcycle accident. Erica and Sharon are committed to sharing their experiences of love, loss, and healing through this podcast. Now your grief specialists, Sharon and Erica.
Hey friends, welcome back to Healing Starts with the Heart, where it's all about you, the griever, and your broken heart. I'm so excited that Erica and I are doing these in-studio recordings today. We're so excited. Hey Erica, welcome to LA.
It's so good to see you face to face. This doesn't even feel right. I feel like I don't know what to do without the computer screen up.
Oh no. That's so cool. But you know, I think the best thing about it is that we get to be able to give this back to the grievers that really want it, you know?
Right. I think it's definitely more relatable when they can see us both in the same room and just really read our facial expressions, because that really doesn't come across sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just love us being together. So if you're listening to this show today, there's a huge probability that your heart may be broken. It could be from a grief, either a grief or a death or anything in your heart, recent or long ago, that you're still carrying around. What we want to do today is just hope to give you some insight and tap into whatever may still be hanging around in your heart.
You know, we just had no one there to guide us when we had our situations. We were lost. We made a lot of mistakes. We said a lot of the wrong things. So with us doing these shows, hopefully we're guiding others who are hurting on really how to find healing and to live the quality of life that they're meant to live.
Right, right. One of the things I want to tap into before we get into this show is that you and I have been doing a lot of postings on social media, and what I've been noticing is that if we put a post out about grief or sadness or someone's broken heart, we'll get 2 or 3 likes. But if we put something funny of you and I, a joke, we get 120 likes. And it just proves to me that we as society don't want to talk about sadness.
Right.
We don't want to talk about brokenness. We don't want to talk about what's going on in people's hearts, right? And we have to change that, friends. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to change that. We're trying to go to that part of our heart and really talk about it.
It's so heavy. You know, it's really heavy when you start being honest about the pain you're feeling in your heart, and it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that people want to scroll right past us and get to the funny cat video or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that to put anyone down or for all you that don't like my posts. Just kidding.
She takes it personal.
It's that it just proves to me over and over and over again that we are ill prepared to deal with grief and loss. We were never taught how to deal with it. No one came to us as a young child and said, okay, honey, I know your cat died, but this is what we're going to do. It didn't happen to us either. And when we needed those resources, they weren't available to us. And that's why we want to change the world.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You know, it's like you and I have encountered so many people over the years, and they've just been walking with that pain 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not knowing what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. So today we have a really great show for you. What we have is Erica and I put out on our social media, hey, we want to answer some questions online on our podcast live, so please send us some questions. It was like overwhelming the amount of questions that we got. I was like, oh my gosh, tell them to stop. But it's great. So if you don't get answered on the show today, we definitely emailed you back or we answered you live on social media. So just so you know, we answered all of the questions, which was great. But we picked a few to discuss on the show today.
Right. And for anyone sending in future questions, everything is kept anonymous. We're not going to use names. We won't say locations or who it came from. So this is a safe space to really send in any questions you might have about grief.
And also remember that your question may be the question that someone else is struggling with, or they may not know the answer to that question. And so you even sending it to us is great, because when we do get a chance to answer it live on the show, you're helping someone else as well. So we thank you for that.
Right. So here goes our first question. I apologize for the cell phone, but this is how it was sent to me. So what are the similarities and differences between grief over a divorce and a grief over death? Is the healing process the same?
Wow, what a great question.
That's a really good question.
It's really good. I think the main reason that it's a great question is because we think that we're going to process it differently.
Right.
Or our family and friends around us, they process it differently.
Correct. Yes.
Right? Even within grief of death is processed differently. Erica, you and I both know, after working with hundreds of grievers, someone will be given a little bit more leniency or given the shorter period of time that they're allowed to grieve if their grandmother died,
Right.
as opposed to their child dying, as opposed to their cat dying. Right?
Right.
So if someone, hey, someone at work, my grandmother died. Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. But then they want you to quickly get back to work.
Oh, yeah, you get 3 days bereavement. Then it's time for you to move on with your life.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get hear things like, but she lived a good life.
Right. Yeah.
You know she's in a better place.
Yes.
Whereas if someone's child dies, you get a little bit more time. You get a little bit more time from society. You get a little bit more time. So I think the same thing happens with a divorce.
I don't think that you're allotted any time. I mean, maybe 3 days bereavement.
Right.
Because they want, it's not in society's, from society's viewpoint, that's not a loss. Oh, it's a breakup of a marriage. You'll get, there's plenty of fish in the sea, that kind of stuff.
Move
They're
on.
told, oh yeah. I don't think you're given the same respect as if you had an actual death in the family, but the pain is the same.
Yes, absolutely. A broken heart is a broken heart.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we have to share with you. No matter what happens, if your heart is broken, it's broken. And that's, first of all, you have to admit that.
Right.
You have to acknowledge, my heart is broken. It really hurts. And that's where you can start to heal from. And that's what happens in a divorce. What about the responsibility, I think also happens in a divorce, is that you did something wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, well, you guys messed it up. So you know what? Get over it.
Right.
Like you're just thrown with that you have to deal with it because of that.
Yeah, there is no time for you to be sad or to mourn the loss because you're the one who caused the breakup.
Yes.
Absolutely. But I mean, in response to the question, I think that the similarities are that it's a loss.
Yes.
The similarities, the pain is the same.
Yes.
The grief is the same. The time to heal and recover is the same. But people don't acknowledge that. So that is the most important thing. The similarities, they overlap.
Yeah.
When you're grieving a death or a divorce, because there's over 40 known losses, the intensity and the pain is the same. It's not like there are categories for loss.
Yeah.
Oh, this goes over here in this box and this goes over here. That doesn't happen.
Okay, here's the other thing, though, that happens is that a lot of times we ourselves don't give the time to heal from that loss, the loss of a divorce or the breakup of a romantic relationship. We just quickly move on. And so we are like, we take that and we put it in the box of need to move on. And then we go on about our lives. And then you're walking down the street, you're living your life, you're doing whatever happens. And then you experience a second loss. Well, guess what happens, friends? That divorce or breakup of the romantic relationship is going to come back full-fledged along with the new loss.
Right.
They're going to connect together. If you don't give the respect to yourself and handle it the way you should, it's going to come back as well.
Right. I want to just put it in perspective for a second because you just think of the term, everyone's familiar with baggage.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, especially when it pertains to relationships. Oh, you don't want to bring that old baggage into your new relationship. Guess what baggage is, people? Grief.
Yes.
It's grief.
Yeah.
It's your old hurts. It's your, he missed the anniversary and he doesn't care. He doesn't like to go out to restaurants, so we're going to break up. That is grief. It's pain in your heart.
Yes.
That you carry on into your new relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're telling you here is that if you've suffered a divorce or a breakup of a romantic relationship, allow yourself to feel the feelings. Know that you are suffering from a loss. Know that it is an absolute grief. And I know that people around you will be saying things that are just not helpful. But be okay with that. Let them fall off and know that you have to do the same recovery steps as if you suffered a death. No matter what pocket you put it in, the recovery steps are the same.
Right. So that goes to the second part of the question. The healing process is the same.
Yes.
You have to do work on your heart.
Yeah.
If you have a flat tire, you can't just sit there and stare at the tire and think it's going to fill itself up back with air. If you're giving time heals, just give it time. That doesn't work. You have to find a way to mend your broken heart. You have to do the work. You have to look at the hard truths of where the relationship went wrong. What part did you play? What part did your partner play? And you have to really tell the truth and be honest.
100%. And when you're looking at those hard truths, sometimes they come in layers. So you may grieve just the initial breakup of the relationship, but then when we pull back that layer, there may be another layer under that, which is the loss of the hopes and dreams that it never really worked out.
Right.
That might be a layer that you need to work on. We pull back that layer, and there might be a layer of we never got a chance to have children. That may be a layer. So that we may need to pull back. So could be multiple layers to the divorce. But let me tell you something, friends. It happens the exact same way in the loss of a death or any of the other 40 known losses. Even losing a job can have multiple layers.
I refer to divorce to give people perspective as like the zombie relationship.
Yeah.
Because it's dead in the sense the relationship is done, but because the person is still alive, it's like they're constantly, and if you have children, constantly coming in and out of your life. So it's like refreshing the pain, almost like on a web page. You refresh the pain every encounter, every interaction. So it's a lot harder to really wrap your brain around. I need to heal. I need to give myself some tools to mend my heart, because that person's not going away.
Yeah. I want to end with this one other note. You and I have had great responses of working with people that were on the verge of divorce.
Yes.
So I want to throw this out there as well. We have worked with couples that just thought there was nothing left for them and they were going to get a divorce. What happens in grief recovery and how we do that work, what happens a lot is that we find a lot of times these grievers, they each individually have their own baggage. They each individually have their own losses. Oh my gosh, I got all this baggage. I got this backpack full of rocks that I'm carrying around. What we have done is we've separated the couple. We've worked with them each individually, and they've become whole themselves. They've been able to work on the pain in their heart, and they've tried going back in and trying their marriage again or their relationship again. We've seen it on multiple times where it absolutely has worked. Am I saying this is the end all be all? No. But I'm saying that if you're at the point in your relationship and you're just not ready to give up yet and you feel you want to try one more time, grief recovery is an amazing way to try for each of you doing your individual work. I can't even tell you guys how rewarding it has been.
And it's completely confidential.
It's completely confidential.
We don't share anything of what one spouse says about the other spouse or vice versa. Whatever they decide to share with one another is on their own terms and completely separate of us. We are a safe space.
And the thing about having the duo here and having the team, we are able to separate out. So one would work with the husband, one works with the wife. So we do that sometimes. But to see a marriage reunited after they've done their work.
Right.
Wow. Early on, we had a couple, I'm just going to share real quick, that they both came to grief recovery. And oddly enough, neither one of them grieved the marriage. They both just grieved the baggage that they had.
Yeah.
And they're still married and they're still doing great today. And I just love them. I love seeing what they've done.
When you really free yourself from the old hurts and the things that are weighing your heart down, it does improve the quality of your life.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I'm a better wife and a better mother.
100%.
Because I took the time to clear out all my old hurts and be more available and more present to the people in my life.
100%. I am definitely a better wife, a better mother. just a better human being all along.
Right.
Plus, I share this all the time. My life is not perfect, you guys. I still have to put gas in my car, which I hate. I still have to go to the grocery store. I still have to pay bills.